Hi, this is my, I believe, 52nd video. I'm not sure, I have to double check. It's been a while since I've made a video. And as I've always mentioned in all my previous videos, my videos are meant to enlighten and, give some of the information and what's been happening to my targeting. As I mentioned, I'm a target individual. I've been a target individual since, I believe, 2014, when I started working for an employer. And this employer is a very influenceable employer in the government. And ever since working there, that's when I started experiencing what a target individual um, is experiencing. And I gotta apologize in advance. It's not easy to speak. As time goes, it's becoming harder and harder for me to speak, because they've done this targeting consists of a lot of things. In the past I've made a lot of videos, and just to a refresher, I've been experiencing a lot of things, from the V2K to the uh, synthetic telepathy, and obviously the different electronic torture, including the radiations and all the things that comes with it. I've talked about it, and I definitely feel the pain, and obviously the changes that's happening to my brain, to my organs, and to my health. Now, this video, like I said, the reason why I keep my identity somewhat hidden, even though I know that the people, obviously people know I'm making this video, is because I don't want to make it easy. Um, you know, they do these things, and I feel the need to make videos about it, and it's disturbing, and it's something I need to say. But there's some information that came out not too long ago. Actually, it came out a while ago, but I received that information not too long ago. In my video, the 45th video I made, I talked about the degradation. I talked about how you're degraded in certain ways. And to be specific, I talk about how they utilize the pedophilia type of torture, and how it's been utilized on me. And they've been trying to make me accept these disturbing ways I'm receiving and reacting to children. It's so disgusting. With them, it's so illogical and disturbing at the same time. But I have no. You can't do anything to stop what they do to you. They override your consciousness, your thoughts, your perception, your reactions, and force you to accept this reaction. But with me, not only they make me react this way, but then they try to make me accept this by using the most illogical rationale. One thing they've done, they make me have these reactions and say, no, we just matched it to how you would react to things when you were a kid. I'm an older, I'm in my middle age man at this point, and imagine being told that what you're experiencing right now as an adult person is what you would experience when you were a child. And so they make me react this way, and just say, this is how, we matched it to you as a child. This is just, we're matching this reaction to you as a child. And they use these childlike individuals supposed to make you subscribe to, or they use these people who are supposed to make you understand that this is logical. And it's disturbing, and you're like, this is not true. And it's not like they're actually matching it to you as a child. They have a way to also manipulate your memory, and they can also mimic a certain feeling, a certain sensation, a stimulation or things that are resembling what you experienced when you're a child, as young as an 8-year-old child, which is what they say sometimes. Like, they give me a feeling and try to make me feel like this is something I felt when I was 8 years old. And they make me react this way toward children that I'm not much about the same age as me when I was 8 years old. And so you see that does it not feel familiar to that feeling you felt when you were a kid? And mind you, I'm an adult. And so for them to make this logical, they would start warning me of what's going to happen. We're going to frame you, and then you're going to get raped. And this to them is a logical way to make irrational points. Now, regardless of whatever's going to happen to me, I will never let them live that fantasy of theirs. I will always call out how illogical, irrational these people are, to try to make somebody accept these obvious manipulations and then try to make them believe that this reaction is a reaction that you used to feel when you were a child, when you're an adult. And make it seem like they're somehow investigating things, and they have found this investigation that in your childhood, that's how you felt based on the investigation. Like, it's just illogical, nonsensical things that they try to make you accept. They just want you to accept this pedophilia tormenting to be organically happening, where the reality is they're very much using pedophilia in many ways to torment people. And I'm not the only one. Other has talked about it, and I've kind of called it out. But something that came out in the news is this BuzzFeed article, which I will include that in the description. In December of 2021, this BuzzFeed article calls out this pedophilia issues that are ongoing in this intelligence community. Obviously, they start off with CIA, but finding out that it was many other agencies that not just the CIA. I mean, the DODs, DARPA, agents from all these different agencies caught with downloading child porn on their government devices. Some of them doing things to children as young as 2-year-old and 6-year-old. And just and in one comment specifically, the one of the, I think, and I'll share the link. One of the head of the security in the DOD office mentioned that when they were reviewing workers at the DOD computers or devices, government devices, he was shocked by the amount of child porn he would see on their computer. Now, this kind of makes sense now, because in my video on my 45th video, I was saying that they might not be per se do things to kids in this pedophilia-centric way, in the sense that they don't personally do that. In a program, they might torture children, and they have tortured children, and they are torturing children using this weapon, suffocating them with this DARPA weaponry, torturing them sexually with this DARPA, like using this military-grade weaponry on children. But it's more than this, because outside of this program, there's a pattern of pedophilia that's been ongoing in these agencies for a while. And this article calls that out. This is not a conspiracy theory article. This article not only speaks about it, but they requested to get some documents in regard of all the different employees that were caught with doing something, I guess, illegal. And there's a lot of mention, but obviously those documents the CIA released and this other DOD agency released were very much redacted. And I'm going to share that. It's actually in this document, and it's a lot of pages, thousands of pages. A lot of it is redacted. They don't provide the names of those agents and employees and workers for the DOD name, but they kind of touch on it. And it's insane that, this is only the bare minimum that they're providing them, the very bare minimum. So you understand that it's much more than that. It's much, much more than that. And this makes sense because as you experience the targeting, I've always asked myself, why are they so comfortable using this pedophilia-centric torment? How can you feel comfortable to make a person react this way toward children? It's obviously them manipulating you. You know that. You know yourself. All of a sudden, things happen, and then you can react the same way. It's just like, it's not stuff with me. I've kept a folder of all the things they've done to me, and kind of used that as, okay, they're doing this to me. Look at how I have to react to this picture of this kid, of this person. It's just disgusting. It's nonstop. And they force you to believe that it's you. And then they have this illogical way to make you accept this thing by manipulating memories and creating ways of thinking that that is connected to you as a child, a very young child, as young as 8. It's crazy. And you as a 30-something, as an adult man or woman, have to accept this nonsensical rationale. So you just got to understand that why are they so comfortable? And it's not it. They also train your brain, they condition your brain to have those ways of reacting. When you hear that a lot, when you sleep, it's like they program you, and you have dreams of a certain ways, of disturbing ways, using dreams, manipulating your dream, modulating dreams that consist of this kind of disturbing things. Conditioning your brain, rewiring your brain in this way. You wake up feeling different, and you're like, no, this something just changed in me. Like something's just not the same. I can wake up and know it's like, oh my gosh, they've done something to me. I just know something is not right. So this technology overrides your consciousness, overrides your ways of thinking. You can do nothing about it. There's nothing you can do. You have to just endure with it. You have to deal with it. And you have to be able to understand that you can do nothing about stopping what they do to your brain, how they make you think. You just gotta accept that there's nothing you can do. Now, this article makes sense. Some of the things are so disturbing. You hear agents while on assignment downloading over thousands of child porn on their government devices. That means that they're so comfortable that they don't even try to make a secretive. They literally download on the device the government provide them, that's obviously surveilled, but don't care as much as downloading thousands of child porn on their computer. So that shows that it's not just like, it's just they're not catching them by like really doing some deep research. They download child porn like it's just like normal on the computer, on the government devices. With me, they've been threatening me that they're gonna implant child porn, they're gonna do this thing, they're gonna do like, which I'm not, and I've said it before, I won't be surprised. They keep warning me that they're gonna do these disturbing things to me. They keep warning me that they're gonna do something super foul to the point where it's gonna be some kind of framing. I heard my neighbors talking about, oh, you raped my child. I don't know if it's meant to agitate me. I don't know if it's something they're gonna do, but I will not be surprised either way if they're actually just trying to agitate me, or they're trying to, they're actually telling me that in advance so I can be stressed in advance and having to be paranoid in advance. But either way, I'm not gonna let them live the fantasy, right? I'm just being thankful to God. I've been more of a believer more than ever, because I couldn't imagine living my life doing what they do. Now, with that being said, my brain has been super ravaged. My brain is no longer mine. It's completely destroyed, in the sense that I am no longer experiencing what we experience. My thoughts and my way of thinking has been repatterned in these disturbing pedophilia-centric ways. And my brain has been filled with nonsensicalness and disturbing thoughts by them. And they train your brain to think like that and to stick to that way of thinking. It's disgusting, but you just got to be strong. And when I see these people involved in it, I see them for what they are. I don't let them live their fantasy. I don't. I see them for what they are, and I truly believe they are trash. Now, I'm not perfect, but my imperfections are actually being removed and replaced by this disturbing stuff. These nasty pedophilia-centric things that they do. And, of course, my neighbors are involved. Of course, the same tactic you use, but The reason why I'm making this video, this updated video, is because I want to specifically talk about this article, and why is it making sense that the people who are rewiring your brain, manipulating your brain, changing you, happen to have issues with pedophilia. It's funny, they like to call me, oh, you are our pedo, trying to be obviously agitating, trying to agitate me. When in actuality, there's a bunch of pedophiles that works behind those Langley Pentagon walls, behind those computers. I mean, even in these documents, it even shows that a program manager at DARPA, right, DARPA, DARPA, was caught with what it looks like child porn on his work computer. Child porn. And nothing ever happened to these people. So that's the other thing. It's like not only they're being caught, but nothing happened. No persecution, nothing. Because it is their the court system is theirs. We know that everything is hacked, even the court systems. And the court system will not dare touching them. They will not dare mess with them. Because it is them controlling the society. And nobody want to go against that. And so you see these pedophiles that get caught and nothing happens to them because they work for this intelligence community, these intelligence agencies. And you have this purpose of mind that obviously they see me, they try to make me accept these pedophilia things, and to the point where they even try to make me imagine seeing something that's resembling, like it's just crazy. They create their narrative and reality that is so falsified, they're so manipulated, and they want me to be like, you have to accept this. One of, and this is why I would recommend anybody to read this article and read those documents. There was this huge investigation that Homeland Security did, where they were looking at this website. This website actually was a child porn website, where users would subscribe to it. Trying to find out who is subscribing to it, they found out a bunch of DOD workers were paying this subscription, a monthly or a subscription of some sort, and were getting this disturbing content, and they keep catching more agents from different agencies. And for me, they're like, "We caught you." No, you just manipulated my brain to make me think this way, but that's your job. I know who put me in this program. I know your job is to destroy my life and destroy everything. These people are the same people who, let's just say maybe they're not the pedophiles that these articles talk about, are the same people that will torture children and women and will be comfortable working in this way where they can force somebody to have these disturbing thoughts. And to them, it's like a game. It has become fun to them. And we're talking about forcing somebody to have disturbing reaction to children. And they find the fun out of that. So you understand that it almost welcomes somebody to be a pedophile to work with them, to be involved in this program in the way they're involved in it. So it's not surprising that you hear this agents being involved in this program in this way. Not in this program, involved in these agencies. And we're not talking about just the entry-level people. We're talking about program managers at DARPA and other higher ranked people. So you can only believe, what can you imagine for the people lower, the contractor, they call some ACI contractors, and it's unbelievable. And you hear these people try to gaslight me, try to agitate me, so I believe. Oh, really? It's like childlike people. And in my targeting, as I mentioned before, they use childlike individuals all the time. And it's because as they rewire your brain to force you to think in this illogical, disturbing way, they want you to start thinking the way these childlike individuals think. This is a place where they don't want somebody who's going to be rational, because what you're doing is not something rational. If you're rational, you're not going to like what you do. You have to make yourself irrational. I had to deal with some people who are much older, not even much older, but older than me, but have to make themselves so illogical. But you hear that all the time. You hear people, and listen, I'm a man in my in my middle, somewhat young, but not too old, young. I'll say in my 30s, who, you know, so for me, it's not as hard to do this too to when they do that to women and single women and children. So you understand that these people are just they try to normalize these things they do to target individuals. So my point is, I would recommend all target individuals to read this and kind of gives you an indication of what kind of people might be involved in these things. It makes sense. But as much as you hear about this different ways they torment people using this technology that can override your thoughts, that can force you to imagine the most disturbing things, that can force you to dream in certain ways, that can have a pattern, and specifically the article says that, have a pattern of pedophilia, decades of pattern, while you are being forced to think this illogical way, and then they create false patterns so you can identify to these pedophilia ways of thinking and think that's normal. This is disgusting, and I'll make another video. I want to make multiple videos soon. I want to have a part 2 of this video when we can talk more about this article and be more specific. And lastly, something I want to make sure that I talk about is, with my time as a target individual, they've been specializing in changing and just creating memories the different ways. So I experience memories in a complete different ways, erasing memories and changing them in different ways, making them have different perception of these memories or narration of the memories or a bunch of. But I'll have a specific video about that. In the meantime, I just wanted to have this video and recommend all people watching this to look at this article from BuzzFeed. I'm not talking about a very conspiracy focused newspaper. I'm talking about BuzzFeed. BuzzFeed is somewhat mainstream. And if you notice, nobody have talked about this. This article has attachment of different documents released by the DoD itself. This is legit documents. And they call out all the disturbing things about these pedophiles that works in those agencies. And obviously, it's very redacted. They don't provide the names of these pedophiles. And some of these CIA agents were doing things to kids, 2-year-old and 6-year-old, going outside of the country, coming back with child porn and share it to their friends, their coworkers, and do all these things, and doing it openly. It's funny, like when they actually try to pick, there's one moment where FBI agent, trying to catch pedophiles, the way they do it is they would have an agent make themselves be some kid. So there's one case where there's this agent that made themselves be like a 14-year-old, right? And this CIA agent start interacting with this kid after knowing that it was a 14-year-old that they were interacting with. Obviously, it was not an actual 14-year-old. The agent was an adult, but playing a 14-year-old. And this was a CIA agent it wasn't even trying to be careful in a sense. They were just chatting. Of course, nothing happened to them. Nothing ever happened to them. They moved on and whatever. It was handled, quote unquote, internally, which means, really nothing happened. And you understand. And then one big question is, to become an agent, especially at that level. We're not talking about the low level contractors or whatnot. We're talking about some of program manager. We talk about CIA agents that definitely are very well looked at. After reviewing everything about them, this is our intelligence community. This is not It's not like a regular job. So they take a look about they take a look of they look at everything, you know, and so for sure they let pedophile work there. Is for sure they know that this man or this person is has a he watch child porn, but they let them work for them. My point is, I strongly recommend everybody to look at this article, and I'll make a second video where I can address this article in a more specific way. But to all my target individual, understand these tactics, these disturbing ways of manipulating people, doesn't come from the most rational, respectable individuals. These are the foulest human beings. And the tactics make sense now that you read these articles. I always wonder, how can you even feel comfortable doing these things? I've always wondered that. Why, like, how would you, like, how can you make a man or a woman have dreams of that nature, of those ways of disturbing, pedophilia-centric ways and break people down in these disturbing ways? It's just disgusting. How can you even find the strength to do that? And it's because they're in a culture where they truly are pedophilia-centric. And in not my last video, but in video 45, I didn't know when I was talking about this degrading tactic. I did not know that they would. I didn't know that they are actually pedophiles. There was a pedophilia issue there. Now, I'm not saying everybody's a pedophile there, but I'm saying that they are pretty open and relaxed about these agents that have so much, power, in a sense, to the point where they would just download child porn by the thousands on their government devices. And then you wonder why, like, these people can be so comfortable saying, we're mean, we're forcing you to have these stimulations. With no problem. Because there's something there that shows that there's a pattern. And then these people, who are those perps, try to dumb themselves down and make it okay and try to normalize these ways of breaking people down and having to dumb themselves down while forcing somebody to have these disturbing things to the point where they laugh about, we're going to put child porn on your computer and frame you. Now, do I believe they're going to do that? Yes, absolutely. Very much so now. Very much so. Because you got to understand, they probably have colleagues that do that for fun. So I'm not going to let them, live their fantasy. They're going to see themselves for what they are. And, when they do that, sometimes they say, we dared. No, you don't dare. Actually, it's exactly on brand. You have issue with agents downloading child porn. You are talking about implanting child porn on a computer. That is exactly on brand. That's exactly what you expect for people who have issues with a bunch of pedophiles working in these agencies. And they try to sound fierce about it. They try to sound just like they created like this femme fatale, like ways of, and then when you look at them, it's like, it's just a trash. I'd rather die this way than live the way they live. So to all my target individuals, understand that this is something that you have to understand, that shows how much more dignified that you are, that you are. You might be suffering right now, but this suffering is much more honorable than live the life that these people living. And please stay strong, and don't ever subscribe to their disturbingness.